got 152 yards. Should be just a nice, comfortable 9-iron for him. They're going to go nuts when he hits this thing.
That's dirt.
Hello, everyone. This is Preferred Lines. That is not Joe Idoni for the first time in a very long time, maybe ever. I'm not sure. He's not on Preferred Lines. He's on a well-deserved vacation. But joining me today, you know him on this program much better than you know me on this program. Chad Eckert coming in live, cracking beers from the Twin Cities.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back, Chad. How are you doing?
Great. That banger of an intro on this Preferred Lines podcast might be up there as one of the best in the biz.
Wow. Well, coming from you, that means a lot because you wrote.
Did you know?
Preferred Lines.
Did you know where that came from? Actually,
the Cracking Cans?
No. The Preferred Lines like intro music.
Oh no! Please give me the backstory.
So, as a founding member of the Preferred Lines podcast, I have the inside information on that.
I thought you were about to say you have the copyright rights to that. That would
no,
be...
but I know who does. No, so Preferred Lines came out right around COVID, or when we started the podcast, and so did The Last Dance, the Bulls documentary or whatever.
Yeah. And
so I stole kind of the idea, and I fed that particular intro to that documentary. It was like kind of a low. I fed that to Eric Quagnus Martins, the old co-host of the Fantasy Golf Pod, and with his magical music brain, he came up with the Preferred Lines ditty.
Okay, well, that's cool.
Background on that.
That's no idea.
Yeah, exactly. So inspired by The Last Dance and Last Major, we did it.
Yes, what a segue. You are just a natural in the podcasting business. It is the last one. It's almost a swan song to the PGA Tour season. However, the 3M Open does feel to me like one of the most consequential events of the year. Because you get so many great names here who are here because they've got no time left.
Correct.
Or maybe because they just love the great state of Minnesota, probably both. But that's why Adam Scott and Max Homa and Ricky Fowler and all those guys are here. It makes for a very family-friendly event, which I know you know all things about. So I'm excited to break this down. You're the best person in the actual world to talk 3M Open with. So we are so lucky to have you this week. I know you're a busy man.
No, it's true, though. I was born and raised in the great state of Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes. I am currently working as a realtor in the state of Minnesota. So if you are interested in looking at a home on TPC Twin Cities, there are 2 available on the 11th fairway.
Yes.
So we can go check those out. If you want to do a showing, let's set one up. But yeah, Minnesota golf, great time. This is fun that like Ryder Cup is kind of on the line for a couple names in this event. You got FedEx Cup positioning going on. So there's some motivation coming into this for a couple people. So it's fun. Yeah,
absolutely. This podcast is brought to you by Edina Realty.
Edina.
Damn it.
Edina. It's okay.
They're not going to love that ad read. It's brought to you by Edina Realty. Unofficially repping the Golf Gambling Club. It's also officially brought to you by Rotoballer. Which is what Joe would usually say in this instance, but you can use promo code LINES for 10% off of any PGA Premium Rotoballer subscription. If perhaps I may be more convincing than Joe himself, I doubt it. But we have 2 sponsors this week, Chad and Rotoballer.
Yeah,
thank you both.
No, but the Rotoballer people, come on. That's the group you should get a part of. You know, there's a lot of services out there for names and reasons. For touting, and Rotoballer's been around. I've seen them all. I've done them all, found them all, tried them all out. And Rotoballer, try them out. That is a real place with real things going on.
It is. It is the best of the best. We're also sponsored, not really sponsored, but we're going to give a shout out to the Rabbit Hole, Bet Spurts. We will get into that modeling. You can use promo code LINES for a discount on that. That helps myself and Joe. It doesn't help Chad whatsoever, but you should.
No, but I
still
have used
do
the
it.
Rabbit Hole as well, John.
Yes.
I've
Did
gone
you
down
use
that
it for
rabbit
this
hole.
week's research?
Not this week though, but no, I kind of gave up doing that because that just breaks my brain. You know, like some of that stuff is just a little too much for me. But you can go deep into the weeds to get whatever you need.
Yes, it is as complex or as simple as you'd like to make it. But I think before we get any further into 3M Open, I feel like the first half of this show should be talking about the Open. I want to talk about, did it live up to expectations?
Sure. But before we get into that, John, how's the Tout House?
Yeah, we have a lot of storylines today. Like, you're selling houses. I have the Tout House myself. You're known for the house bet. I'm trying to be known for the Tout House bets, which I don't share with conviction. I just try to figure out how to invest into my shed in my backyard, which is a golf simulator now. If you're keeping tabs, Keegan Bradley's win at the Travelers Championship went towards some outdoor lighting and a new air conditioner in the shed, which is vital for this time of year. So
for sure. What city and state are we in?
I am on Long Island.
Oh, that's right.
I'm in Northport. We are
it's warm.
A 20 minutes drive from Bethpage, where I will be in 2 months' time.
Ooh. Have you ever gone to a Ryder Cup?
No, I have not. Have you?
I went to the practice round when it was out at Hazeltine one of the days.
Ooh.
I kind of went to the practice round thinking maybe I'd go, but then I went to the practice round and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not going to be able to see anything if I go because there's like 40 people around everyone at all times.
Yes, I'm hoping Bethpage is better. They're building like a panoramic tee box, a brand new one, and they're converting the first hole so that it's pushed up more to fit the galleries around it more, but then it also makes one at Bethpage drivable, which is interesting because it's right now it's like a 390-yard dog leg, and they're basically just going to say drive it 340. So probably Bryson taking us out the gates round one, if I had to guess. Well, Whistling Straits reenactment, perhaps. I am excited for Ryder Cup. So maybe John, we should start with Ryder Cup.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, that could be a topic of conversation. The Open was fun and everything, but I have thoughts. Like, what are we doing with these names that are on the fringe here?
Yeah, I think biggest movers, both positive and negative, starting with the U.S. side. Negative, Patrick Cantlay on the bubble. Was not on the bubble. I don't think anybody had him on the bubble before last week. Now I kind of think he's on the bubble. It's a bit of a Twitter overreaction to say Cantlay's been bad recently. I don't want him on the team when he's been a mainstay on the Ryder Cup. He's in the inner circle. Who knows if Keegan cares as much about the inner circle as the old heads did, but he hasn't been playing well. He's been a big disappointment in majors, and he's been pretty mediocre this season. Do you think Patrick Cantlay is on the team if the Ryder Cup were next week?
God, I hate to play politics, but probably because of politics. And they're really, because of the Bethpage factor, can you really rely on some name? Like, I'd rather take him than almost Colin Morikawa at this point.
Yeah, that's a steamy take. I'm still, like, I bet Colin last week, and he was pretty awful. I think he was wrong to break up with his caddy. I think he's been awful ever since he's made that decision. He's kind of pointing fingers and making excuses when he needs to look in the mirror. But his Ryder Cup track record is actually pretty solid, as is Cantlay's. And if I'm
right, that's the problem.
So I still have both of them on the team, but I don't feel great about them. And I really think the European team is going to be just the better roster.
Right. But then, okay, so Chris Gotterup secured his position with the Scottish win and then the runner-up last week? Or so Gotterup's 22nd of this list I'm looking at?
I think Gotterup's got to be in. You know, really interesting that he's playing at the 3M, because I had him chalked up as once he gets back to the States, he can finally celebrate with his friends and everything. He's like top 30 in the FedEx. He's way up there. So he doesn't need the points.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need to play this week or next. He could recharge and get ready for a playoff push. But the only reason I can really think, aside from it being like a really good course fit for Goddard, the only reason I think he's playing this week is the Ryder Cup bubble. I think he's like, I'm hot and I'm not a lock, so let me get more Ryder Cup points and try to win another event and make it an easy decision for Geeks.
You had a question for me, like most impressive from last week at the Open, and I think Chris Goddard was one of the names I wrote down because he was tweeting a GIF about "Bring me my money."
Yeah,
and when he did that, I was like, we're looking at a miscut from Chris Goddard. But hey, whatever, he's playing with little house money and kind of was the conditions that favored his game. And so he took advantage, and now he's in the conversation, which is crazy. So then you kind of have to like look at the list of like the McNeely, the Harmon, those guys are kind of probably pushed out.
Yep.
You got Burns, who could maybe show this week because is he the betting favorite?
I believe he is.
And then you have him show up, carve USA into his head, and he gets chosen. What about Win DC? Our Wyndham Clark guy is kind of making a late season run, and he's 16. So there's some names. I don't think Cantlay is one of those names. He's just on that out, like the JT year where he was out.
Yeah, as I look through it, I think I'm out. I think Cantlay could get jumped here just based on merit. Like he might actually get chosen, but if I got to put a list together that I want on that team, I'm taking Spieth before I'm taking Cantlay.
Yeah, right. What they should do is they should force the European people to make it 16 names.
Yeah.
And then
we'd be back at an advantage because I feel like the European team, we want to talk about the European team next. They've got, it feels like exactly 12 guys.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right. So then why are they plus 140? Should we be putting money into that right now on July 21st?
It's just the away nature of this, but on paper, on a neutral setting, they would and should be the favorites in this event.
I know it's weird.
And I think they're going to run back the exact same team as Rome. I don't see any reason to play with that, like the other bubble guys would be like Rasmus instead of Nikolai. But if you look at the totality of the season, Nikolai's been much better. If you look at the last 3 months, Rasmus has actually been pretty bad. They both finished top 20 last week. So they were playing about the same golf. I wouldn't mess up, what worked. I would just bring the same guy back again. Yeah. You'd love to do a little pair both of the twins together. Sure. But Fitz is playing too well and Rose is playing well, and they need that veteran presence on that team. I don't see, Luke Donald messing with that either. So do you see any reason to add anybody else to this team compared to what they did 2 years ago?
I'm looking through it. I mean, like all these names kind of drop off. It's crazy. What, like Matt Wallace is scoring points?
Don't need it.
No.
I think Aaron Rai is probably the most compelling.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Like if you wanted to go Aaron Rai instead of Nikolai Højgaard, that's probably the right like recent form move, but it's not significant enough that I would mess with what they had and like sacrifice that distance advantage that you're going to get with Nikolai.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're going to crush us, dude. Look at this. I mean, Oberg's 9th, Hovland's 10th on this points. I don't know. And we're like forced into having Harris English and JJ Spawn as locks.
Yeah, well, is Harris English a lock? That's another question, because I think JJ still is. Harris English.
This point scoring system needs to be brought to attention, because I'm looking at this. How the hell is Justin Thomas 7th? What has he done?
Has he had a good back year? 2 years. And it significantly weights the majors. That's my understanding. I don't know how the weighting works. I just know that's how a guy like Bryson is like locked in despite not playing PGA Tour events.
Got it.
And same thing with JJ Spawn. Like if you win a major, you're on the Ryder Cup team.
Well, we're just very thankful that Brooks Koepka didn't do something in the majors, and then we'd have to have him in the name. And we're running out of room.
Yeah, I mean, I was pro Brooks at Bethpage. How could you not be? Dominated here,
Right.
has the course record from 2019. I
yeah.
was looking for any reason to justify
disappointments. Should we start with that at the Open?
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about.
We've covered Cantlay enough, I think. The live people. You wanted to talk about. We could talk about live and how that's in general a disappointment.
I don't know what positives you can glean if you're a live diehard from what happened this weekend.
Correct.
There was some sort of a narrative that live would be less prepared than the PGA Tour because they played Valderrama the week before, not a links course, and the PGA Tour players did play a links course, which I think is not that big a deal. But what I do think could have been to their detriment is a lot of players like Shane Lowry chose to skip the Scottish Open and just play whatever links courses that they felt prepped them the best. And if you play on live, you don't have that option to say, actually, I'm not going to play Valderrama. I'm going to do my own thing. So that's the issue that you run into with live. Like you have to play what's in front of you. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure to a small degree there was some of that. And ultimately it's just, there weren't that many live guys that I loved going into this week. It was really just Rahm and Hatton.
Okay.
And the rest of the guys just aren't like your typical links players who are playing on live. So I wasn't too surprised. I was shocked that Rahm was as poor as he was. But otherwise, I think it just kind of went as I would have expected.
Yeah, it's disappointing to see Cameron Smith become the player that he's become. I don't know what's wrong with him. Is he hurt?
No, he just got married.
We know that definitely impacts your golf game.
That's been the prevailing narrative on Twitter. Give the guy a break. He just got married. So
or children too. But apparently Scottie's taking it a different way.
Yeah.
No, biggest disappointment was Patrick Reed for me. A big AP, always play Patrick Reed guy, and then this is supposed to be one of the courses that he can like use his magical skills around the greens and didn't do shit.
Yes, I was incredibly high on Patrick Reed. I have been at every single major because you just get a discount on Reed every week. That's the one thing I've missed about Reed not being on the PGA Tour. You always got a good number. You always got a good fantasy price on him.
He's grinding.
And you always got good ownership too, because everyone would look at the number and be like, I just don't want to root for the guy. Right. So I missed that. And this is the first time in a long time that Patrick Reed has let us down, I think. So I'm not going to.
No, this is like the first miscut in a major for a while, I saw.
Yeah. And he had a compelling case for the Ryder Cup, and it's gone now.
I want to ask you about the best players that haven't won a major. We know the obvious names like Hovland or maybe Cantlay, not anymore. But I want to tell you that I think that Corey Connors and Russell Henley will end up winning majors.
Okay. I believe that.
I think they should be on the list of the best players without a major. Corey Connors continues to show up every time at majors. He was hurt, so I kind of didn't even think of him or consider him. And I think he was top 5 here.
Yes. Do you think the Open is the best opportunity for each of them?
Probably, especially Corey. I don't know. Actually, Corey's putting has improved over the last year and a half, but the slower greens, maybe that helped him out. But I think Corey, honestly, they kind of do also, even Russell, feel like Augusta people.
Yeah.
So giving them those two opportunities each year, they're veteran savvy a little bit, and they have that motivation now that they've checked boxes on their tour Wikipedia pages, and they're just trying to get that thing. So I like those two names as best because we know the name. Like Bob Mack could be on that list too. I saw he was awesome again. But yeah, so they don't get as much respect as I think they should as ball strikers.
Who would you say in order are your top 3 most due or most overdue to get their first major?
Well, I feel like Hovland and Oberg, those were the names I bet this last week just because I feel like I'm going to bet them every major until one of them checks a box because those are the two. Now, Bob Mack has the long distance in the game, and I think the lefty thing helps him in Augusta. And so those were maybe the names I'd think of. What about you?
I think it's Tommy number one for me.
Oh yeah, right.
He was.
Damn it,
I
but he
saw a
can't get over the damn hump.
He's the only player, along with Scottie, they're the only two that have top 5 at each of the 4 majors over the last 2 seasons. Yeah. So he's always in the mix. He needs he needs like a Danny Willett moment where like he's there and then somebody else checks out and
that is true. He'll get it.
Backs in.
The old adage is if he's hanging around, one of these times he's gonna get it.
Yeah, I bet him last week.
So did Joe, and Joe was loving it. Or didn't Joe?
I think so. I think so. I was on Tommy and Hatton, so we were like sort of, if you remove Scottie from the equation, it would have been a very interesting split.
Right.
But,
yeah.
I think let's segue into Scottie. I mean, we can't talk about the Open and not talk about Scottie. I had a lot of thoughts before the week was over about Scottie's presser at the beginning of the week. And then because he won, he got to kind of explain his comments afterwards, which I thought was interesting. So everybody was talking about Scottie's presser. He was asked, what would it mean to win, whatever the prompt was. And he was basically like, winning golf tournaments is not fulfilling for me. What's fulfilling is going home to my family and having the love of my wife and the kid. Yeah. And it's great to win, but 2 minutes later, I'm just thinking about my family. And obviously that can be taken out of proportion and taken out of context, and everybody took it and ran with it on Twitter and it went everywhere. And my feelings in the moment were, I don't like this. You're the face of the sport. The correct answer to that question, well, I don't want to say correct because he answered it honestly. So like that is the correct answer because that's how he feels. The answer that golf fans want to hear when you're asked that question is, I want to be the next Tiger. I want to be the greatest golfer of all time. I have the game to do it. I have a big mountain to climb, but it's important to me that I build a legacy as one of the GOATs, and I'm well on my way, and I really want to be great at this game. And he kind of said, he went in the other direction, and he was like, yes, it's great that I win and I'm competitive, but it's not what defines me, blah, blah, blah. So it's a boring and wholesome answer. And as the week went on, you see what happens afterwards, and he explains himself afterwards. Like, he is a really good role model. You have kids. Like, if you're trying to get your kids into the game of golf, it's the best role model you could have. Like, this guy's got a great head on his shoulders. So it's boring, but he's setting a good example. And I just don't want him to make golf boring. That's my take. Like, I just want him to make, if he's going to carry the mantle of being the face of golf, let's market it a little bit better and just be a little more, give us something. Give us something.
Yeah, give us a few quotes that pretend at least that you are dying to win. But like, dude, okay, so I think as it takes one to know one, I'm a father of 3 children. And I'm in the middle of the grind right now. And I think Scottie is doing what I was doing a couple of years ago when I first had the first kid, is like, you have like a quarter life crisis and you start to like look at things a little differently when you're having this human that's essentially the only reason that you now exist. And so that where you like go out and then see like real estate transactions happening and people grinding and doing things. And I'm like, well, I could go grind, I could go run around, and I could neglect my family. But then it's like, this dude is this small for this long, and I got to get out there and I got to do it. And so I believe that Scottie potentially in his athlete world has seen a lot of his co-workers take the path of neglection. And I've seen it in my world as a dad and as a grinder. Someone has to occupy my children while we make the money to pay the bills. Like, but the occupying the children requires almost a full salary's worth of work. So then you're replacing like some random human is raising my child for me to just grind and keep up with the Joneses over here. So then these things are happening all at once in our brains. And we say, what the hell is this all about? Why are we even doing this? And that's kind of, I feel like in a way, I related to what he was saying. I kind of felt like I almost needed to hear it because I'm out there trying to build this brand and real estate, But at the same time, I literally cannot neglect my family. Like, I feel that too, because it's, there's time. You have only so much time. So like, you do kind of have to do this. So I'm wondering if maybe there's other humans that he's seeing on the PGA Tour that are kind of going those routes, and he's quietly gone a different way. And so I don't know if that's made any sense.
Yeah, no, it actually reminds me of when I started watching Full Swing, both the first season and second season. There was such a dichotomy between Tom Kim and Sahith Theegala versus Ian Poulter and these other guys, and Tony Finau, really good example.
Sure.
And Tony Finau, for example, they did his episode, and he was at St. Andrews, and he had like the worst week of his life. And I was so high on him. I was like, this is a great fit. He's in great form. This is Tony Finau's week. And he finished like T60 because he was talking about how like his kid had a big soccer game and he missed it. And he was like contemplating like, why am I not there for my family? But I have like a dozen kids, so I'll never be able to be there for all of my family. And they're not here, and I'm alone at a major, and it's supposed to be a big moment in my career, but I'm alone. And so that stuck with me when I heard the Scottie comments, because I'm like, he's not alone. He's just got a microscope on him, and people react a lot more when he says it than when Tony Finau says essentially the exact same thing, but on a Netflix documentary. So I thought that was interesting. I think the general theme of like golf as a sport of sacrifice, and the better you get requires more time to put into it, and to put more time into golf requires taking time away from your family. And everybody could be better, but what are they willing to give up? And that applies to Bryson DeChambeau. I think you never hear about his personal life. You never hear about who he's dating. He doesn't have any plans to have kids because this is his first love, and he's made that sacrifice. And he is the polar opposite approach to Scottie Scheffler in every sense of the word, right? He's making content, putting himself out there, doing all the things outside of the ropes to promote the game, saying goofy stuff, and making an entire sacrifice of his life to dedicate to golf.
Right.
And I think because Bryson exists, there's this golf fandom for Scottie that's like, why can't you do a little bit more like that? Why can't you give us some content?
Or if you were like Bryson, dude, you could be winning by 11 and winning every tournament.
Yeah, and that's the other thing.
It's like, why aren't you like this? So I do think a lot of it has to do with because you compare him to Tiger in a way, some people do, and like Tiger, he was exciting. He gave it all, every single putt, shot, everything. Like, you don't really maybe feel it with Scottie. Maybe it's the way that he swings and he's falling over or whatever. But at the same time, I think it's because his mentality is a little different than Tiger's, because of like Tiger's reputation, his entire life was, I want to prove to be I'm good at golf, whereas it's almost the opposite for Scottie. So like it might be a religious thing, because you see Scottie wear his religion on his sleeve, and Tiger was definitely wearing his religion on his sleeve. So we can see the two there. Plus, I don't know much about Scottie's father, but I do know a lot about Earl Woods, and like there's the difference there. So maybe there's a reason why Scottie is the way that he is and Tiger was the way that he was. Religion and fathers. Yeah,
or maybe he just learned from what Tiger did and said, I don't want a public image like that. I want to keep everything tighter knit.
But Scottie's only 29. He could screw this all up. He could get involved with a bunch of hookers, and we could be, talking differently about Scottie in a few years from now.
That is true. If I were Scottie's publicist, I would say, hey, Scottie, the next time you get that question, let's answer it this way. Let's say my family means everything to me, and so does competition. I'm driven by competition. When my 9-to-5 job, whatever you want to call it, is compete. And once that is over, I'm a family man, and I'm there for my family, just like anybody else in America or whatever. But because of those two things, it's important to me that the Scheffler legacy live on for generations, and I be the best that I could possibly be, so that when people talk about Bennett Scheffler, they say he's the son of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear. doesn't change his values, just
Which I do,
spins
yeah.
it.
I think he is super competitive, so he needs to just reiterate that over and over and let everyone know that. Like, he is
We'll
as
send
soft
it
as
to
he
him.
seems.
I'll find his actual publicist. We'll get this right.
So
I appreciate Scottie Scheffler. I don't appreciate when he, runs away and doesn't give us a chance to win our bets.
Yeah.
But
this conversation, dude, the press conference led me to think that how long are we going to have this guy around for? And because I do believe that what he said is what he believes in his heart. This isn't all about it. He could wake up one day and be like, peace, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. So, like, as much as I want him to get to maybe like 12 majors or something crazy, like 11 or 12.
I don't that is actually where I was mistaken. The first time I heard his comments, I thought the same thing. And then when he re-explained himself afterwards, I was like, oh, I think I get where you're coming from. I think it's his obsession with competition will not allow him to retire.
Okay.
To retire early. Like, he won't, like my dad and most people who face retirement, I think it's like, all I know is the grind. What would I do with myself if not to grind? And like, you still love your family and you grind for your family. In this case, it's not comparable because like he's already gotten generational wealth for his family. He doesn't have to do it for the money anymore. So maybe that comes in. But I think he's just by nature a competitive person, and to walk away and watch golf knowing that people are winning tournaments that he's better than, I think he's going to stay around for a long time.
I could see that.
Maybe he wants to do the LeBron thing and play on tour with Bennett. Pass the torch and the Schefflers will run town for generations to come. My last question on Scottie, and then we can move on. I want to do a major look back briefly, and then we'll go to 3M. We won't go too far over today.
3M is kind of a weak talk.
That's we got the 3M expert here. We're deep diving.
Sorry.
How many majors over the next 5 years do you think Scottie Scheffler
5 years
will win? By 2030, Scottie Scheffler has 4 wins now. It took almost exactly the same amount of days or years Scheffler to get his 4th as Rory to get his 4th, and Rory did not get his 5th until a decade later.
Okay, so 20 more chances. I give him 4 at minimum.
Yeah.
I probably give him 5. So I give him 9 total. That's like above Tom 1. But golf is weird, John, as you know, as I grew up in the sport watching it, I'm like, oh my gosh, Jordan Spieth. He's probably going to have, he'll beat Tiger's record. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Rory, how could Rory not get to 20 majors? This guy, he's got this curly, fuzzy hair. He's in the lead of every major ever. And then he's literally got the same as Scottie. Or no, does Scottie have more than him? Yeah. No, Scottie needs one more to pass.
Yes, he's one behind.
Yeah, but still, he has more than Jordan already.
Yeah.
But so we could see just Scottie, like, I don't know if the swing would cause an injury that would do something. I don't know. But the golf's weird, so it's hard to say. But I think if you give 20 chances to Scottie Scheffler, he's going to get 4.
Yeah, it feels... Yeah, I feel like 4.5 is actually a pretty good line.
Yeah.
I can't remember actually why, like thinking back to the Masters this year, why he wasn't more of a factor, but the Masters feels like an event that for the next 2 decades, Scheffler will be able to bring his game there and do well. Not saying he's going to win the next 20 Masters, but when 38-year-old Scottie Scheffler comes,
he'll be fine.
Like, yeah, how old is Rory? Probably in that
37,
right? 37. Like when he runs, Scottie's that age, he's going to be very much a factor. And the short game is never going to go away. The around the green stuff, the putting is probably going to be up and down, whatever. But yeah, the only thing that I think holds Scottie back is if he can't sustain the way he like wiggles his body around.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's possible. He might not be that pliable for a very long time. But I just think he'll figure it out again. So, yeah, I think 4.5 is the line. I don't want to be hyperbolic about it, but the guy just won by 4 strokes for this. He made 2 majors this year completely uncompetitive. So it's not that he's just the world number 1. He's like significantly better than world number 2 right now.
Well, just keep them out of the kitchen.
Keep out of the kitchen.
Whatever.
Keep them away from the wine glasses. And
All
keep
right,
them out of Blaine, Minnesota.
Yeah, to the best tournament of the year. Let's go.
Okay, wait, no. Last thing before we get to 3M.
Roto Baller, promo code Roto. What is it?
Yeah.
Lines.
I don't know. Yes. Promo code lines, Roto Baller. Do it. Do it or else. Major season. If we look back on 2025, 10 years from now, will we remember it more as the year that Rory won the Slam or the year that Scottie won multiple majors?
The Slam. Don't you think?
I mean, probably because it's not unheard of that he'll do it again.
Right.
And,
see, that's
and
the problem.
these two multiple.
Yeah, Rory may never win again, dude. Literally. He may never win a major again.
But what if Scottie wins the Slam next year? And then
like
and then Xander wins the Slam the year after that.
Oh, okay.
And then
Spieth
and then Spieth gets his.
right.
And then all of a sudden there's just like this string of Grand Slams, and it's like, wait, Grand Slams aren't everyone's getting a Grand Slam.
Well, didn't someone win 2 majors last year and everyone's forgotten who that is?
That's right. Yeah, this could be.
So,
we could just say like, oh yeah, 2024 to 2025 is when
I think historically, John, looking back at 2025, will be the year that the beginning of the end of Live. I hate to say it. Have you ever tried to consume this product?
I've tried, and I literally don't know how. I download the app, and then I think I have to pay for it.
Yeah, if you get beyond that, and then you actually start to consume the product, like. I am the biggest golf fan, and majority of the people that I love as people are on this tour. And I think it's hard to consume. So I know it'll get some hate, but it's hard to consume. And then as a person who doesn't know much about the courses that they're playing, the fact that they're playing at random starting points in the course, I have no clue. I've got no context. I can't, is Patrick Reed behind now and he could come back? Wait, where are they? Have you ever tried this?
I literally can't do it because I'm not going to pay for it, and I don't have cable, so I can't get on Fox Sports.
So we all tried Live. Everyone's tried it. The ratings are in.
Yeah, it's a thanks but no thanks for me.
So maybe we won't even care about Scottie at that point. We'll be like, remember Live? Holy shit.
Remember the couple of years that was a thing? I do think Live is just not meant for American golf fans. I think it's a niche.
And that's it sounds irritating. So maybe a Euro would like it.
I think it works for underserved markets that the PGA Tour has no longer gone to, like Australia, all of Asia.
No, I get it.
I get golf, now don't.
PGA Tour can certainly add those venues.
Yeah. Right. If there is a merger, I think it ends up looking like the international swing is live sanctioned events for massive amounts of money, and the team stuff is irrelevant. No one cares about it. And then most of the tour goes back to being American based again.
Well, John, did you know that the 3M Open has extended their contract with TPC Twin Cities through 2030?
Let's go.
Yeah, we'll be back 5 years. Well, we'll see. They can always.
Scottie will have a dozen majors by then.
Tear that contract up, but we'll see. We're here. TPC Twin Cities. I will be there tomorrow morning with my son for the practice round.
Okay, let's talk about it. We're wrapping up the Open. It was a great week. Congrats to Scottie. He's the greatest golfer who's ever lived since Tiger. But now it's 3M Open, and Scottie's not in the field, which means that we can actually bet whoever we want without. Yeah, I'm not going in the without market. I'm not scared. No. I'm going head first, and we have the best intelligence in America here to talk about 3M Open. You've been there a million times. You walked the course with Hollis Kavner, who was directing the event when they first took it over. So you know everything. You've been there a million times. Usually I give the course breakdown, but I want you to explain from boots on the ground.
Okay.
What's it like there? What's the atmosphere? Sure. Inside the ropes, outside the ropes, climate? What's this heat like? Why is it so hot in Minnesota?
Okay, so,
I thought we're in the north.
Have you ever been in the sauna before?
Of course. I've been to Finland.
They're quite humid. It feels like that literally all the time right now. July in Minnesota, you have these random sporadic storms. Like in the background right now, it's just all of a sudden darkening the sky because this storm is coming in. This summer itself has been a little more rainy than usual. So my garden, I haven't had to water as much. In fact, my sprinkler system was broken all May and it didn't make any difference. It was great. I didn't even have to use it.
Same, actually.
Well, homeownership. Okay, so we save some water there, and therefore TPC Twin Cities may or may not have a little longer rough, but I doubt it. They typically try to like give these pampered people an easy time out there. They are in Blaine, Minnesota, which is like 30 minutes from civilization. So people on my Twitter were like, "Whoa, how are these houses $550,000?" It's like just no one wants to live there, bro. Even on the golf course, straight up, not gonna lie. So it is a gated community. The people at the PGA America or PGA people in Orlando, whatever, they came up here, bought a sod farm, and it's the exact same thing as every other TPC course. You've got some water, it scares people, but really, if you're an idiot, you hit in the water. Like, I think if you can control your ball like slightly, like give me a break, hit a 3-iron instead of the driver every once in a while, and you're going to be position golf a little bit here and there to not double bogey out of the tournament. But we're birdieing this thing all over the place. There's some opportunities, par 5s. It's not. There's a drivable par 4, a couple par 3s that are easy. I mean, we're 20 under par at least, I think, aren't we, John?
Yes, I think so. I think the presence of water and the absence of water over the last few weeks. I mean, there's no water in the Open. You get maybe a little bit of John Deere, and Travelers, you had water, but it's been a lot of no water courses, and maybe that catches guys off.
Yeah, that'll sneak up on people, for sure.
That's why it doesn't get out of hand, because there are some bogeys out there. There shouldn't be, but there's like mishaps that happen. But it seems like a ball striker's course. You go down the list, everybody is a great ball striker who can't putt but seems to be able to putt that one week. Mm-hmm. Is there anything to that with the greens? Anything you notice walking around there? Like, are they flat? Are they just putting pins in very like accessible places? Because every winter you go, Cameron Champ, Johnny Vegas, Tony Finau, Lee Hodges was an awful putter that season. They all have like career weeks on these greens.
I think that bent is very fair, and I will say I've experienced that as my own, putter myself on bent. So I don't know if it's actually bent. I'm sure it is, because that's most of the greens that are out in the world. So I don't know. Maybe it's just fair grass rolls fair, so they see the line and they can see it and it goes in. And I don't think they're that fast or slow. I think it's just fair overall. You know what's really cool about this course is the finishing hole.
Yes, number 18. One of my favorites.
Yeah, because it is risk reward. So a lot of guys try to go for it or send it over the water. I have noticed, now I've been a DraftKings more or less player over the years too. You want to go for those guys that go for it, or whatever they call it. Go for the green
percentage.
Yeah. So like I used to do this, and then like people who've had the most eagles this season that are like in the 6K range or whatever, try to go after those people, because this course, like, it will spike a guy here and there.
So we should be referencing the Aon Risk Reward Challenge leaderboard.
Wow.
I don't have it. I don't have it at my disposal. I don't know if it exists. They just kind of reference it.
No, I did see it just a little bit ago.
They're just like, oh, okay, here's who won the Aon Risk Reward for the season. It's not like they track it.
Dude, okay, so this field this year is the best it's been, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if that's our guy on Twitter that tracks OWGR points would confirm or deny that based on the like number and level of this tournament, but whatever. Like, I've seen the depth in the past, and it's been pretty bad. This year, we're getting like the betting board. The betting board.
You want me to pull it up?
Yeah, dude, we've got guys. It's deep, dude. The Vegas or the odds makers, they have no clue what to do. We could take advantage this week.
Yes. Okay. Hold on.
I don't know. How do you pull it up?
I think I'm going to Data Golf.
Okay.
Can you see this?
Nope.
No. Okay.
At the tippity tap, dude, this betting board, not only is it really juicy with my favorite people, Sam Burns at the tippity tip top of the betting board, he's been one of my, I've loved him. I love him. I love Maverick McNeely because we
Yeah.
know Maverick McNeely does not need to be playing golf on the PGA Tour. He could be a Nepo baby.
That's true.
We
Can
have.
Can you see this?
I'm not sure if I
Still
can.
no.
But you know what? Chris Gotterup, I pray he doesn't withdraw. I did literally fist bump him one year here.
Really?
Yep, he was here like a couple years ago, and he looks exactly like Brooks Koepka. So we dubbed him Baby Brooks at that point, and it's coming to fruition on him.
Yeah, you're right about that because he's a Nike guy, and they script him in the solids.
Yeah,
in
and he's
the
got
same way
those
that they
giant
script.
arms. Dude, Wyndham Clark's here. I have an affinity to Wyndham Clark because it was in 2019. I put together a GPP winning lineup in the Quarter Arcade, and it was with Wyndham Clark before I even knew who that was.
That's
Mike
amazing.
Miller. Dude, I miss smartgolfbets.com. You guys miss that site?
Oh no, I'm familiar with this game.
And then Pendrith, another friend of mine who won the house bet for me last year at the Byron Nelson. He's at the top of the betting board. We've got juicy names. Plus, if you go just a little bit further down on the betting board, you have even more names. But my first name is in that list.
Okay. Well,
Who do
I
you prefer?
don't seem to be able to share my screen. I can talk through the top if you want to attempt to share
Well,
yours.
I mostly consume your product using the iTunes product. I'm still an iTunes guy, even though my wife's a Spotify person. But so a lot of times I'm like, oh, cool, you're just showing something. Well, I'm not going to be able to see it anyway.
Okay.
I'm not watching.
All right. We'll do it live.
Describe
We'll
it for the
VO it.
audio listener. The tippity tip top.
Yeah. We'll visualize. And you know what? Most people are listening on podcasts anyway, so they're not missing out on the visual. The favorites this week is Sam Burns is your favorite. Chris Gotterup is a near second. Maverick McNeely is your third. I think there's a top three. And then your second tier is your Wyndham Clark, Max Grazerman, Taylor Pendrith, and Siwoo Kim, who I don't really think belongs there. And Tony Finau I'll put in that mix as well. So my first question is, who do you think should be the favorite this week?
Wyndham Clark.
Yeah, okay.
Wyndham Clark is trending. Wyndham Clark had once finished second here. I think there was a time where he was the 54-hole leader. You'd have to check me, but I'm pretty sure he slept on a lead here. I'm not sure if it was 36 or 54, but he likes it in Twin Cities. And did you see in the last couple of weeks? I think he's refocused after smashing some lockers.
Yeah. How like smash proof are the lockers at TPC Twin Cities?
You know, I haven't been in the locker room actually, so
unbelievable.
Oh,
The treatment.
Oh yeah,
the number one realtor in all of Minnesota. You can't get the guy in the locker room.
No, but Wendy C has had a little bit of an issue with an injury or something. I thought I saw. Do you remember when he withdrew from the Players?
Yeah.
So
but it doesn't seem like it's holding him back.
No, I think he's over that.
Great open UK swing at T11 and a T4.
Yeah.
Approach play has been inconsistent, but Portrush is a very demanding approach course. So if you bring that back with you, one thing that I think is a misconception this week is just fade the guys who on the jet lag narrative who played the week before overseas. Not true. Tony Finau won. Yeah. When he played overseas, I think Lee Hodges might have been in the Open before he won.
He missed the cut at the, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe you get 2 extra days of jet lag. Maybe not. Maybe he enjoyed the rest of his trip in Europe and came back on Sunday anyway. We don't know. The point is, you can play there, come back, and get over it. These guys travel every week. They have their jet lag cures. I'm very prone to jet lag. I need like a week before I'm back to normal. That would be my excuse. You would want to fade me, but not these professionals. I'm not fading Wyndham Clark for that reason. There's a lot of guys I like up top, and there's guys I like a little bit better. For me, I'm going with Sam Burns. I'm going with Sam Burns. I actually think there's a lot of I thought that where we just had the Canadian Open at TPC Toronto, I was looking at Twin Cities as one of my favorite comp courses to that course because it seemed like more of a ball striking premium, total driving premium. And I think putting in Canada, putting here similar agronomy. We're still working with bent. We're still in the north. The climate's not too different. Latitudinally, we're pretty close, right? You're not far from Canada. So when he plays well in Canada, that catches my attention. He lost in the playoff there to Ryan Fox. He's had a lot of close calls. Should be on the Ryder Cup now pretty comfortably, I would think. I think even if he's on the fence, Scottie Scheffler is going to say, bring my Bible buddy with me. You need him, right? So it's Bennett Scheffler's best bud. This is the father of Bennett Scheffler's best friend. So you got to bring him on. I think he's playing this week because he wants to like really earn it.
Sure.
Because he doesn't need to be here, but he's played here a few times before. He's got a couple top 15s at the 3M. So yeah, it's not the type of event you need to have the favorite. Favorites don't have the best track record here. I do believe Tony Finau was the favorite the year that he won. And since then, it's been a lot of long shots.
Yep, randoms.
But I'm okay with it. I'm also betting Sam Burns because I'm in the throes of the Mayo one and done. I'm in 40th place right now. And I have Sam Burns available and many others don't. So I was going to be picking Sam Burns and rooting for him anyway. This is a great spot for him. Some people might save him for the St. Jude, where he also has some good history. He's gotten to a playoff there a couple times. But I'm going to roll the dice. What do you think? What do you think about Sam Burns here?
Yeah, I think he deserves to be the favorite, and I'm kind of happy to see it's not like 12 or 14 and 18 or more. It's all fair.
Yeah.
I do like the names that are in the 40s. I think there's some course history people like Davis Thompson stands out to me as someone that I like. But then you could look at Keith Mitchell or Emiliano Grillo as people that have played this course and have played okay. I just can't personally stomach them to win a tournament.
Yeah.
So maybe more of a top 5 lean on that. Grillo Mitchell?
I like PGA National as a comp course here. It's sort of the preferred lines connection. Like, this is your baby, that's Joe's baby. So like,
I did ask Keith Mitchell that
energy. Did you?
I said Keith, and I was so nervous to talk to him, and then he was like, "This fucking loser, what are you filming me?" So then he gave me like, "Oh yeah, they're similar. They're both TPC courses or something." Like, he gave me some answer that was like, "No, dude, go away."
They have water. Obviously PGA National is a much harder course, but this year it wasn't. This year is very easy. So maybe this year's version of the Cognizant Classic might be worth referencing. If you do, then obviously that's a Keith Mitchell connection. I like Davis Thompson as well. I was looking his way. Where I went in that range was Michael Thorbjornsen.
Yeah, so you have to.
I think he'll be very popular. He's number one in my model. We didn't talk about the model. We did talk about BetSperts using that lines promo to get access to my model, Joe's model, and everything else in between. I don't know how to screen share. We've learned because I'm a million years old and I don't know how to use technology. But if I could, you would see a model that had Michael Thorbjornsen number one in a model that heavily favors ball striking, off the tee, approach, distance, and very low weighting that I'm putting in this model on all the short game stats. I don't care about scrambling. I don't care about around the green. Really bad putters have come in here and won and had the best putting weeks of their lives. So all I care about is ball striking and the comp course history and the recent form. And Michael Thorbjornsen's crushing it in all of those areas. He's got Colin Morikawa as caddy. He's got JJ on the bag. They seem to be a great partnership destined for success. And he's like, he's kind of like Matt Wolff narrative here, right? It's
exactly.
Young guy, bomber.
Champ. I mean, they're kind of the same. They're all the same mold. You just got to get like the young guy before everyone else figures it out. And the problem with it is that he's at 40-1 or 30-1 or wherever. And like, it's still a good bet if it wins.
Yeah. The thing that's great, this is bad, but like I've bet Michael Thorbjornsen at shorter numbers than that this year. And the opposite field events, he's like the favorite. And I'm like, well, he's playing good golf and everybody else in that field isn't. So I'm still going to do it. Hasn't worked out for me yet, but 40-1 is actually longer than I was expecting to get on Thorbjornsen. The model and the numbers love it. And he fits like a profile that I think makes sense here. And maybe there's no scar tissue here. Maybe like never putting one in the water is a good thing. And you just show up and you play your ball and you do your thing. I don't know if JJ was on the bag Collins rookie year, but I'm pretty sure it was like
He
Wolf,
probably was.
Colin, Bryson.
Yep.
So
They were in like a
Colin's
playoff.
played well here.
Huh.
So I don't know. I'm chasing that.
Cool.
I like Thor Bjornsson and I like Taylor Pendrith next to him. Another guy just hits it far, has played this course well, plays these types of courses well. A little volatile with the putter, but a great ball striker, a good total driver. So that's kind of where I landed at the top of the board.
You know what I would say? Like, there's a point here in the betting board that it falls off, and like you could pretty much clump 55, 65, to like 100, and they're all the same human being. They every single week. This is what is the problem with being a tout for the golf is like you start to realize like they all have the same talent level. It's so hard to figure out which one is going to come up with the putter and have a good rest and be good with his girlfriend that week, and we're going to have it all together. So you get to this point in the betting board and you're like, what the hell? So here's what I do typically is I say to myself, hey, you know what? I can do like a Max Homa. I've seen the guy lift trophies. I can see Sahith Theegala 80-1, whatever. He could wake up, sneeze the right way, have the right swing, and be in contention, and you got an 80-1 on him, and then you use that, hedge that. Are you a hedger?
I'm not. To my detriment. I've had a lot of unsuccessful playoffs that I've let ride this season, but my philosophy is like I hedge up front. I don't do single bullet outright cards. Nobody does. So naturally, if I've bet multiple people to win, I've already hedged, but I put all the exposure that I want for the week in up front, and then I just let it ride.
Yeah. No, I do. I end up hedging, and I end up trying to just win my money back, and it works a lot, but then it doesn't work all the time. But so I would say like that's what you're doing here, and that's kind of what I'd like to say I would do in this tournament, especially because there's a lot of birdies. There's a lot of like distance variance. There's some fun that can happen, and a guy can get hot. Like a Matt McCarty at 90-1, awesome bet. Nobody really knows about it, but he's got the ability to win. He did it on Corn Ferry a ton, and then he's got the distance potentially. He's kind of had an up and down season. So the Matt McCarty type names that come to this event, they know they've pegged it. This is like even Pearson Cootie, 75-1. There's names that are like 3M Open. That's my week to, that's my major. That's the one I'm going to show up for because I have to prioritize this stuff. And if a Matt McCarty treats this like a major and EVR just did his $400,000 last week, or Tom Hoagie doesn't need this, Bo Hostler was up there, people may show up and be like, I'm in Blaine, I'm getting the F out of here. Whereas Matt McCarty, this Clanton guy, there's some names that could just say, this is my week that I prepared for the last 2 years, 3M Open 2025. I'm coming with my A game. I'm going to try to get my tour card for the next 4 or 5 years, whatever. Yeah.
I said it at the top somewhat facetiously, but also some truth in it. This is one of the most significant weeks of consequence on the PGA Tour schedule because there's guys out of position who win this week and all of a sudden they're in the playoffs, or there's guys on the fringe who don't win this week, but they put themselves in a position next week at the Wyndham to then get themselves over the hump. A lot of guys, you go into the Wyndham, you're already dead. And it's like, oh, I have to win. And if I don't win, I'm not in. Like, that's not going to happen. But here, it's like you got a little bit of hope, a little bit of motivation, and honestly, a lot of depth, a lot of competition. Like you said, Sahith, Homa, Adam Scott, Ricky Fowler, who's like way shorter odds than I would have expected to see Ricky Fowler. But you get a lot of these names who, if they're veterans and it's Sunday and they're in the mix, they're going to be motivated. They're going to bring their best and they know how to win on the PGA Tour. So I think if you're of that mindset, then maybe this is a week you fade the Sam Burnses of the world, the guys in the 20s, and you just build out a longer card with, hedged exposure. I don't think that's a bad play this week when it's, not much to separate you. It's not like you're looking at long iron specialists and guys who keep it, super accurate. Like there's a lot of different ways to get around here.
Yeah, it's kind of somewhat predictable, weirdly.
Yeah. For me, I'll say that I bet a short card, which has to happen if you bet the favorite in the tournament. But the last two guys on my card were Kevin Yu and Patrick Fishburne. Patrick Fishburne became like a FOMO situation where I was very high on him because he was top 10 going into the last round of the Barracuda, and I had some exposure there. And then he shot like 7 over, made 0 birdies in a Stableford event, and finished like outside the top 50. So I don't love that. I don't love that because he was doing really well, and I already wrote him up, and I got all excited, and I'm just like, it's almost a sunk cost. I'm riding with him anyway. Prior to that one round that I hated, he was really putting it together and doing all the things you want to see for Twin Cities. So hopefully that was an aberration, and he's back this week. I got him at 70-1. And Kevin Yu, I think, is just the exact same player as Taylor Pendrith. I look at and like a better approach player marginally than Taylor Pendrith, and otherwise the exact same player. I think they play well at the same courses. Birdie guy makes sense here. I think he's one of the more underrated talents on the PGA Tour. Played really well in Canada, which is the reason I'm betting Sam Burns. So anyway, that's my card. Those 5 guys. How about you? Is there a house bet? Are we ready to call it?
Well, since I can't share the screen, it's a little less dramatic here. Maybe I'll do it on Tap and Birdie tomorrow night because I'm on with Brian Kirshner, and I don't know. Maybe he'll let me share the screen somehow. If not, I will record a video of this wheel because I do spin a wheel. That was the fun. I haven't really figured out where the house should go. I have Wyndham Clark for a pretty good bet. I did go on McCarty and Eckert and Thagala.
Eckert I like as well. I couldn't fit him. PGA National overlap, the winner there. Great ball striker. I like him a lot. He will be a big FOMO for me if he wins.
Joe says that he may be able to bring the wheel in. Bring the wheel in, Joe. I don't know. Joe is the producer of the podcast. He's in the background. He is. I don't care. We don't need to do it. It's been an hour, so it's been a pleasure coming back on to Preferred Lines. Thank you for entertaining me, John. I'm excited to be back with Tap and Birdie tomorrow. Haven't talked to Brian for a while.
Yeah, you're a busy man. The mayor of Minnesota himself came by just to visit. It looks like it's getting real dark over there, even burning the midnight oil.
No, it's a storm, I think. But no, tomorrow I actually could have Liam throw a golf ball into the rough. So if you're interested in seeing the rough length at the TPC Blaine.
Yes. What's on the, like, you're going to a practice round. I've never been to a practice round, let alone with a child. What's the run a day? Do you go in with a plan?
So typically you get on, it takes about a half hour to get there from my house. You get on a bus and it takes another like 5 minutes to get from the parking lot into the facility. And then it's not very hard. You walk in immediately, you got to see how much the Mick Golden lights are and whatever. And you buy yourself a beer. And when you first enter the facilities, you're right there on 18. So it does kind of put you in a position that allows for the photos. You like walk just around the bleachers or the big grandstands and you can see 18 right there. So typically that's where we throw the golf ball down, is next to this drain that's off of 18, because it kind of gives you like the most or the thickest rough perspective.
Yeah.
And then you watch the guys kind of approach 18. You kind of see that a little bit. And then you kind of walk underneath this bridge over to the practice facilities, which you walk up to this putting green, and it's pretty decent sized putting green. Got all the guys working on their shit. You got some sand traps up over to the left there, and you kind of see the guys working on their sand stuff. And then as you walk around the putting surface, you got hole 1 and 9. So you got 9 coming up green, and you got hole 1, and you can see the guys teeing off on their threesomes or whatever they're doing. And then you kind of walk around a little path, and that's when you run into the autograph zone. So they've got it set up for the kids. You got to be this height or lower, and you can get into this little area. And then they've got these giant golf balls that you could sign. And last year they had bucket hats, sponsored by some, mini donuts or something. So then the kids, they talk to every player. Every player is nice to them. They get every single autograph. You can watch all of the guys warm up. They've got the little name tags of the players. So if you don't even know who people are, they still show you, oh, that's that guy. I know him or whatever. So it's kind of nice to know when they're coming up. Yeah. So then you do that. You kind of do the practice facility thing. And maybe you watch your favorite guy like Sung Jae Im hit off of 1. You follow them 1, 2, 3 or whatever, and you come back, and then you say maybe you watch 9 and you watch the guys approach 9, and then they're hitting it at different parts of the green and stuff like that. So that's kind of interesting to see, like, oh, they're practicing that, and like gives an 8-year-old, my son is 8, it gives him a really good idea. So he's into golf. So like seeing this just really does pay dividends for him too.
Amazing. So do you have a bunch of these like giant autograph balls sitting around your house?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've got the bucket hat. I should have worn it tonight. Like I could have worn it. It's got everyone's autograph.
So when your son comes, is he like, no, I already got your autograph. I don't want.
No, actually, I don't know if he remembers who he's got his autograph. So
all right. Well, when you guys go,
yeah.
What I need boots on the ground knowledge on is, one, who's looking jet lagged? Who's like me, who's coming back overseas, stayed a little longer with their family, didn't come back on Sunday right after the Open, but actually caught a red eye like a couple days later. And it's just however you get from,
or who isn't
rushed to Blaine,
right?
Not an easy trip. So I want to know that, and I want to know if anyone, like, I want to specifically know how Goddard is looking, because my assumption is hungover and potentially jet lagged, but definitely hungover. And that's the only reason I can think of not playing him, and I've already committed to fading him, so I'm hoping that that's true. But I want you to make me feel a little bit better, hopefully, about fading.
That he's actually out there on the Tuesday grinding. Like, I doubt it, dude. I won't.
Yeah. If he's not to be found, amazing. I feel great. I'm gonna wait to put my matchup bets in until I have more intel there.
For sure. So yeah, follow me on Twitter, Edina Realty. That's the Twitter name. I work for Edina Realty, so if you want to see a house at TPC Twin Cities, I can show it to you. And I will be live with our friend Brian Kirshner on the Tap and Birdie tomorrow night on Twitter. I believe that's where it is, or the Inside Golf YouTube page.
There you go. Awesome. I can't wait for that. I will be tuned in. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for making your valiant return to Preferred Lines. We missed you.
The Golf Gambling Club, I'd never miss it for anything, dude. Anytime Joe calls, I will answer. He says jump, I say how high.
Check out the site. Buy yourself your own t-shirt. You will hit a winner this week if you follow either Chad or I's advice.
Yes.
There was such good nuggets in there today. I can't possibly imagine we've led you astray. So once you've hit your winner with us, buy a shirt, pay it forward. That's it for us. You know where to find my stuff, so that's for another day. But for Chad, I'm John. For Joe, who's with us in the shadows, have a good night and best of luck with your bets this week.